Would
All right, we are live. Barstool Units, episode 66. I'm Coach Doug's with me, as always, Frank the Tank Fleming. Frank, how you doing?
I'm doing fine. Hopefully this heat will break, but we know everything that's going on with you right now. You're heavily involved in training for Rough and Rowdy, even though the Canadian
Yeah.
has
Yeah.
backed out.
Yep. So I'm training for Rough and Rowdy. I'm going 5 days a week into the gym. I've got the same trainer that Alex does, and everything was going smooth. I finally got Dave agreed to give me a link, and I'm going to be getting points on any pay-per-views that I sell through my link. And then, just a couple days ago, I was given notice that the Canadian, again, he wanted to be called the Canadian Butcher, but I refused to call him that. I don't know if he is a butcher. I doubt that's his vocation. Not even sure if he eats meat. But
he probably wants to eat. He's probably going to be wanting everyone to eat those bugs.
Yeah. Well, so he was supposed to fight Slapper Cash at the last Rough and Rowdy, but he claimed, and at the time it's a very real possibility that this was a problem. He's claimed that he couldn't get his passport in time to come to America. Canada has passport issues right now that very well may have been the case, but that's the excuse he gave. So he didn't fight in the last one. He was supposed to. He challenged me to this one, and got the word a couple days ago that he basically is not answering his phone. He's not replying to text messages, and he deleted his social media. Yeah. I don't know what it was. It could have been, it legitimately could have been I joke about like, oh, my training videos are intense. It could have been my training videos. He might have actually seen me training and thought, I don't want to get in the ring with that. It could have either been that, or he saw the Dave Portnoy show where I told Dave that one of the big reasons I wanted to fight in this, the heavyweight fight, was because the last heavyweight fight was such garbage. And those losers got booed out of the ring, as they should have. And so, it might have been that. He might have thought he was going to coast, to an easy paycheck. And that's not what I'm doing this for.
Well, I'm sure we'll find a new opponent for you.
Yeah.
And of course, we still got to put the link down below. So
yeah, the link is my pinned tweet. It's the top tweet I have. So I have the link. I haven't. It's kind of how Barstool is. I don't know what I'm getting, per view or whatever. I don't know what the points are, but they're keeping track of how many people are buying it through my link. I had a whole issue. Dave pretty much said, Dave said I didn't move the needle. He said that Alex was, the Barstool personality fighting at Rough and Rowdy. And so anybody buying Rough and Rowdy to watch a Barstool personality, they already had Alex. And nothing against Alex at all, but I think there's a lot of people, I think there's a lot of Doug's fans out there that may not buy Rough and Rowdy, but because I'm fighting, they'll buy it. And so
I'm sure of it. And of course, then you've got the American Pride thing to get the American. Patriotic fervor always moves the needle.
Absolutely. And it's funny. I was wearing my I have a few different like American flag T-shirts, and it's funny. The past 2 weeks when I've worn either of them, people are like, "Oh, are you wearing that because of the fight?" And it's like, no, this is just like my normal summer attire. Every May or June, I swing by a Bass Pro Shop and buy these American flag T-shirts. I've been doing it since college. And so it's funny hearing people go, "Oh, you're doing that because of the fight," and it's like, no, this is just my normal summer wear, American flag. But so we have, but we're still pushing for that. The Spittin' Chicklets guys, Biz, put out a little video, and so asking for any Canadian units to sign up. And last I heard, a few had signed up, and so they're looking through there right now and finding me another Canadian. It kind of sucks because, you know, I was called out. I'm not the aggressor in this. So, but you know, I still want to fight. And so now it's me calling it. It just completely ruins it. You know, from that aspect. But you know, hey, he's a coward, and you know, who knows? Who knows if he's
this is now 2 fights he's backed out of. I mean, that's
yeah.
Cash is the walks with the other guy.
Yeah. So it is what it is. I'm still training. I don't know who I'm going to fight yet, but I'm not worried about it. I'm still going to train no matter who I'm fighting. And so, and I'm sparring tomorrow for the first day. So we'll see if Leo, my trainer, gets any good shots in.
That will be very interesting indeed.
Yeah.
The first sparring. Because, you know, nothing prepares you for the first time you actually get hit. I mean, you might have the headgear, but you read that's something that you really got to get used to, getting hit. That's why I'm not getting in the ring. I don't want to get hit.
Yeah, well, I think it's one of those things. It's kind of like a kid falling down, right? Like you fall down once and you realize, oh, that wasn't that bad. You know, obviously you don't want to fall down, but you know, you fall. You know, people stumble, people fall down, and you know, you get back up, and you know. So I think that's my take on it, and that's how I'm going to go into it. Listen, if you expect to not get hit getting into the ring, don't get into the ring. But yeah, that's how I see it. You know, I'm sure I'm going to get hit and just going to move forward.
Well, sometimes you have to move back. Yes, if you move forward, you might get walloped.
Yeah, or you know, put your hands up. You know, yeah. But I'm excited for that. But yeah, Rough and Rowdy 18, August 19th in Huntington, Virginia. Huntington. Yeah, sorry, Huntington, West Virginia, not Huntington.
Home of the University of Marshall.
Absolutely, Byron Leftwich. So go to my Twitter handle at Coach Doug's. The pin tweet, that is my link. Right now, it just has a standard Rough and Rowdy 18 image on it. I'm looking into getting that changed so that it's definitely my link. It shows it my link, but that is for sure my link. So if you're looking to buy Rough and Rowdy 18, it's August 19th, Huntington, West Virginia. Go to Coach Doug's on Twitter, the pin tweet, and buy it from there.
Now, what has been the most difficult part of the training so far?
I would say it's definitely the punching. I would say that's the most difficult part because it all has to be one fluid motion. You know, like the stamina, which is what I'm working on mostly, you know, running around doing suicides and all that stuff, and actually making sure that I can, you know, go through, you know, a 3-minute, we're working on 3-minute rounds. You know, hey, if I can fight, you know, 3-minute rounds, then I can do 3 1-minute rounds, no problem. But the actual punching and the technique, you can hurt yourself. You know, if you're not balanced, if you're leaning into punches, or you're picking up your feet, you're trying to swing away, and if your fist isn't straight, you know, you can hurt your wrists. But it's actually the punching itself. It's, you know, it's like a dance, and you have to be in motion. So that's been the most challenging part. But we still got, you know, another 3.5 weeks or so. So I'll get that down, no problem.
I know Stu was set up to fight a couple of years ago, and he actually got injured during training.
Yeah, he had one of the fighters actually happened in the ring a few Rough and Rowdy's back, I think. He tore his bicep, which if you ever see that, it's where it looks like they're flexed. The bicep muscle snaps, and it basically.
And we're not talking about the fake injury that Jose Canseco claimed.
No. With this one, you see it because the person will be holding their arm out, but their muscle looks like they're flexing, and like there's no way it should be like that. It's because it kind of like a Charlie horse, you know, like it contracts or whatever. But yeah, that happened to Stu, and that was unfortunate because I know he wanted to fight. But he'll be in my corner on August 18th or August 19th.
I mean that's what we're waiting for. Stu was always great, you know. I mean, Stu just cheering you on. So just give you the energy just to carry the day.
Yeah, I said a while back, I said everybody should have somebody like Stu in their corner, but there is nobody like Stu.
No, there's only one Stu.
Yeah, he was telling me, I went to his house yesterday when he went to the Mets game. I went to his house to swim, and he was telling me the story about how when he coached his son's little league teams, how he would just be screaming at all of these kids, kind of like kicking and screaming. But none of the parents ever did anything about it, because after the games, he would bring all the families and the kids and everybody would come over to pool parties at Stu's place. And so even the kids that like he didn't play or he like yelled at all the time, they wanted to be on Stu's team, because after the game, they all went to Stu's for a pool party. So everybody just put up with it. Everybody's, crazy Stu yelling at like 11-year-olds.
Well, that pool sounded very nice yesterday. I was at Citi Field this weekend for 2 games.
Yeah.
And what might be some of the most oppressive heat that's been in New York, New Jersey for like the last 10 years. I mean, it has been high 90s, touching 100, and then you get the heat index, the humidity, and it's just been uncomfortable, steamy. I mean, 2 days sitting in Citi Field, and I'm soaked. I'm sweating.
Yeah, that sounds horrible. That sounds terrible.
I mean, you could actually see like the steam, like the air. When it gets that hot at times, you can actually see like a haze.
Yeah.
And that haze was hanging over Citi Field, and just just sitting on your chest.
You're describing the first 2 to 3 months of football season in the South. Like, it sometimes gets cool in October, but August, September, and definitely most of October, it is hot and it gets muggy and you're just sweating. And if you're at Doak Campbell Stadium, everybody's on bleachers. There is no shade. And when people start to like leave because it's too hot, they open up a place for the bleacher and the sun just hits the bleacher. And yeah, so
I mean, the heat it was unbearable this whole weekend. Unbearable.
I thought it was nice.
Almost as unbearable as the Mets offense lately.
Well, okay. Well. So we'll put a pin in that. I thought the heat was nice. That is one of my favorite new sounds, is hearing New Yorkers complain about moderate heat. Like
moderate heat. It was,
it was
100 degrees yesterday.
Oh no, it got
to moderate heat.
Frank, it was over 100 degrees when we were in Texas.
Yeah, but that's a different heat.
Oh, okay.
It wasn't as
not a New York heat. The New York heat has that oomph to it.
Yeah, and then you got the humidity, and then you got the fact you got those buildings, and the asphalt. There's no trees absorbing that heat.
I tell you what,
you have the concrete and the smells. The smells.
Yeah, I would say the smells are definitely worse than the heat. But I mean, it might be because I've been in the gym. There's no AC. They don't run the AC in the gym I'm training at. So I actually walk outside and I get like a nice breeze, and it actually feels really nice outside. So maybe that's what you should do before your next Mets game. You just turn off your AC in your apartment for like 3 or 4 hours. Just turn off the AC and just sit in the heat. And then when you get outside, it'll feel real nice.
Yeah, right. I was actually so tired after yesterday's Mets game. I didn't even feel like climbing the stairs to the subway. I called an Uber, and I got into the Uber, and like 5 minutes after getting in the Uber, I drifted off to sleep. The next thing I know, I'm in New Jersey.
Yeah. Now, how much? So that's Citi Field to Belleville, New Jersey. How much did that Uber cost?
$165.
I can't do it.
But that air
compared to what? What I mean, I'm just again. It's. I mean, listen. You've got the Cameo money, so you've got the money to pull it off. What?
Well, how much if I had a driver, that would have been nice.
Yeah. That. Well, I mean, if you want to get into that, we can. Now, I haven't been to a Mets game with you in a while, for obvious reasons. But speaking of which, your negativity. On Twitter, you cannot be negative right now for at least another 5 or 6 days.
No, it's been extended.
Okay, and so is this breaking news?
No, I bet Clem that Jacob deGrom will be shut down again, and now I can't tweet anything negative until September.
Wow. So this now I remember you telling me about this, and I had a question. So you're just for those who don't know what the bet was, you made a second bet with Clem. The first one you lost, and so you couldn't tweet anything negative about the Mets for all of July. You tried to double down on that. Your bet was that deGrom would be shut down?
Yep.
Why would you bet that?
Because they bumped his last rehab outing last week.
Mm-hmm.
And that was reminiscent of last year when they just kept bumping everything back, and then eventually he never pitched in the second half. He hasn't pitched now in 13 months.
Mm-hmm. And so he has not been shut down, though?
No, he's supposed to do another rehab on Wednesday. And if that goes well, maybe he'll make his debut after that.
Okay. So what was the benefit of making, why did you make the bet?
Because I thought it was a short thing.
Well, okay, so what would you have gotten if, again, it's kind of by making the bet, it kind of put you in a bad situation because then you had kind of an incentive to root against deGrom coming back.
Well, it's frustrating right now. Whatever the Mets, it's just always something bad happens to the Mets.
Yeah, but with the bet though, you put yourself in a position where you would have benefited from deGrom getting shut down.
Well, I just expected it to happen.
So what would you have gained if deGrom did get shut down? Obviously, you would have been upset. But what would you have gained? What did Clem have to give up?
The ability to go negative again. It would have ended it.
So it would have ended. So it basically you would have gotten out of Twitter jail a week early. So you wagered an entire month of negativity for 1 week.
Yep.
Why would it be a whole month? Who negotiated this for you? Who's your negotiator?
I didn't negotiate anything. I just said I accepted it. I accepted the challenge because just how much the Mets are cursed, I was almost sure that he would be shut down.
So that's how much you wanted to tweet negative thing about the Mets. You wanted it so bad, you were willing to risk an entire other month to come back.
It's cathartic, especially when you have people like Easy Out Escobar.
Is it cathartic to the people in your group chat? Let's talk about that. So you're in is it a Twitter group?
Yes.
And so you can't tweet anything negative, but you can DM this group your negative thoughts.
Yep.
And how's that going?
I think people are ready to go to a psychiatrist. Okay. It's like going into a funhouse, and there's lots of blood and screaming going on.
Do you find that is it a lot of people that have your who is in the group? Who makes up the group? Is it people that agree with you? Is it people that disagree with you, but they love to hear your opinion? Is it people that are?
I think it's a number. I think it's
masochists.
I think it's people who agree with me and would love to hear my opinion. I think that's basically who it is.
Gotcha. So it's not necessarily they're not going crazy over your negative tweets. They're going crazy over the same things that cause you to tweet negatively.
Yes.
Gotcha. So it is,
especially when you get second and third, nobody out and don't score.
Mm-hmm. So is this group? I've heard the term thrown around, and I'm a big fan of alliteration. I'm a big fan of names, clever names. I don't know how old this is, but Fleming's Lemmings.
No, that's a new one.
That's a new one. I have no opinion whatsoever on the group itself or anything. I don't know anybody in the group.
And that is not the
great name.
Group.
That's a great name. Fleming's Lemmings. I love it.
That's KFC's term for the people who follow me.
It's a great name. Would you admit that it's a fun name?
Maybe we had to sell that T-shirt.
You know what I mean? Like Stoolies, Jersey Jerry Army, award-winning listeners, AWLs, and then Fleming's Lemmings.
Yeah, I think Fleming's. I think maybe we should start marketing that shirt.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's probably only going to be marketed to your group chat, but depending on how many people are in that, maybe it'd be worth it. How many people are in the group?
I think it's like 30 people now.
You have your own little cult of negative Mets fans.
Yes.
just a casual yes. And what the reason why we're negative is just basically we watch teams always go hard and play their best against the Mets, and then commit 4 errors in one game against the Braves by one player. So we're back to the Braves again. We're back. So it's I mean the Brave it's one of those things where the Braves, it doesn't matter how good the Braves are if the Mets just win. The Mets just have to win. If the Mets keep winning, it doesn't matter how good the Braves are. Yeah, well, the Mets going to get stuck in the fucking wild card. Yep, and the Braves never lose. How do you feel about that? So we've turned that into a shirt. Your little rant that turned into the Brave. Oh yeah. That pissed me off. Yeah. I hate that fucking team. I'm watching a Phillies team, but that I guess the only good thing is by the Phillies losing to the Braves is the Phillies are basically the wild card team the Mets have to stay ahead of. Mm-hmm. I mean, I don't want to be the 6th or 5th seed. The Mets will have no shot in those two cases. Yeah. Well, you have things are looking up for the Mets, though, right? You have a new first baseman in DH. Yeah, DH Vogelbach. Still need to add another batter too. Vogelbach is a left-hander. To say he's a unit would be an understatement. I mean, this guy looks like a middle linebacker playing baseball. I mean, he would be a big middle linebacker, Frank. Oh well, then a nose tackle. Yeah, I would definitely say he looks more like a nose tackle for sure. But because when he runs, I saw him run from first to third and from second to home yesterday at 2 different occasions. It's like you can almost you don't want to be anybody that's in his way. Yeah, so you can actually hear it like the train. Run! Yeah, you got to get off the tracks when the train's coming through. I heard he had a good debut though. He had the Mets were being no hit for the first 4 innings yesterday. He had a single in the 5th. Didn't score because the Mets had 3 feeble batters after it was 2nd and 3rd.
but the next inning he came up, walked after the Pete Alonso homer, and then he actually scored that time.
Yeah. Well, I read that he went from second to home in 8 seconds. I mean, that's got to be a record for a guy that big. He was booking it. I'm excited.
Yeah, he was hustling.
Yeah, I'm excited to see him play.
Yeah, well, I think eventually what the Mets want to try to do is get another batter too. Trade deadline is 1 week, 1 week away, I guess. So people will be watching this on Tuesday. So it's the trade deadline is August 2nd this year.
Mm-hmm.
It's usually July 31st or August 1st, but basically because of the lockout and how the season began, they moved it like one day.
Everything got pushed back.
I don't know. Yeah, but it's August 2nd this year. The trade deadline actually means a lot more now. Previous years, the trade deadline was a soft deadline, where up until 2019, you could trade players after the trade deadline, but they had to pass through waivers. They got rid of that rule. There's no more. There's no more trades after August 2nd. So it used to be that there'd be players would be placed on waivers, and teams would just go wink, wink, nod, nod, and let every big player pass through waivers because a team can claim anyone that's placed on waivers. But now they just look at it and go, okay, you leave that guy alone, we'll leave that guy alone, so you guys can make trades.
Mm-hmm.
That doesn't happen anymore. That is gone.
The players wanted that, right? The players wanted that gone. That was the owners getting around.
Yeah, both sides kind of wanted it gone. Doug, you looking at something?
No, what are you looking at?
I'm looking at this guy for the Phillies make his 4th error of the game, dropping a foul ball that was right in his glove. You can't tell me these teams just don't bow down before this stupid fucking Braves team.
Yeah. Well, so that's the trade deadline's coming up. Yeah, we'll see what happens. But the Mets have a unit. I'm looking forward to hopefully. I mean, he's a Gator, so I'm not too thrilled about him. But I'm excited to maybe see him play in person. That'll be cool. But speaking of that, we got some planning to do for this weekend. We have the National coming up in Atlantic City. It's the National Sports Card Convention. It's a big deal. We went to Chicago last year. This year it's in Atlantic City, so it's only 2.5 hours away. We were late getting the hotels. We can get a hotel, but it's like $250 a night. I don't know. Again, going back to Frank's $160 Uber. Listen, if you're paying $160 for an Uber, you might not have a problem with $250 a night for a hotel, but that's like
don't have to necessarily stay in Atlantic City. We could find a place on the shore.
That's going to be cheaper than $250 a night?
Might have to be an hour drive, but yeah.
I mean, at that point, maybe just drive up for the day and come back. But we'll figure it out. But at the National, have you thought about?
I'm definitely looking forward to the especially that Sunday. Just get those bargains on Sunday.
So you get on Sunday what?
The last day. I'm definitely looking forward to going down that last day again.
Yeah. So that's the rub with any kind of big show like this. If you're there first, you get first look at all the deals and everything. If somebody has cards that you're looking for, but you're going to be paying full price. If you go the last day, you might miss out on a lot of things, but there's some deals to be had.
Yeah, that is It is the rub, but I got so much stuff last year. I still have to finish fitting up my apartment. I still got stuff in boxes and things all around me.
Is there anything? Is there anything you're looking for when you go, or you're just gonna start walking around like it's a garage sale?
I'm gonna start looking around like it's a garage sale.
Yeah. And then you'll have multiple boxes for multiple years that you still haven't opened or looked at.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Collector. What can I say?
Well, there's a fine.
Bobbleheads. I got bobbleheads on everywhere. I need a new bobblehead shelf.
Yeah, you do need a new bobblehead shelf, but there's a fine line between collecting and hoarding.
I'm a collector.
It's a fine line. I'm not going to say one way or another. I'm just going to say if you haven't pulled the stuff out of the box from last year's show, from a year ago, and you're still planning on going to this one to buy more things, yeah, we might need to have a talk, a sit down.
Well, one thing I'm looking for. One thing I'm actually going to go there for is maybe get some boxes.
What?
Get some boxes.
Some boxes?
To help organize my stuff. Yeah, to help organize my stuff.
You're going to go to the National to buy boxes?
Boxes, binders, sleeves.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, they will have that there. I think what I'm going to look for is pennants. There's always one or two guys that have pennants, old school pennants. And they're especially at the end of the week, they're pretty good prices.
Yeah,
but that's an item that you can't.
Yeah,
that's an item.
I got the dolphin pennants last year. Remember those?
Yeah, I do. I vividly remember you buying it and then rolling it up and shoving it in your bag, and me going, "What are you doing?" The whole point of buying a pennant, like in person, is so that you can take care of it and you can transport it yourself, knowing that it's being taken care of. That's not something you want to buy over the internet and worry about the packaging. So I remember you.
I'm looking at like 2 dolphin pennants right now. They look beautiful.
I remember you buying it. It was like 1972, 76?
72, 73.
It was 1972 Dolphins pennant, and just rolling it up. And that's what pushes me to the hoarder part of the collector side, collector hoarder argument. Like a collector would have been like, let's put this in a hard case. Let's, keep it here. I don't know if a hoarder would have been so careless with it. But again, I'm not judging. It's your money, your pennant. You can ruin it if you want to. But I'm looking for it.
I just had to buy a new Roomba. My Roomba died.
Oh yeah, I saw they reached out to you on the Twitters. Did they send you anything, or did they just tell you, hey, it's an old Roomba, get over it?
Basically, they said it's an old Roomba, get over it.
You got the Cameo money, Frank. You'll be all right. Have you already gotten the new one? Has it already come in?
No.
Okay. You got Cameo money.
It's ordered. It just had it, so hopefully I'll get it soon.
Well,
I brought some popcorn from Stu Leonard's, and there's a pin-sized hole in the bag, and popcorn crumbs everywhere. So I tried to clean it up, and my Roomba went.
You tried to have your Roomba clean up popcorn?
Yes.
Isn't the Roomba for like general like dust and dirt and stuff? I don't think it's meant for.
Kernels. It wasn't the big popcorn kernels. It was crumbs.
Okay. All right. How much crumbs? How many crumbs? Like a handful of crumbs?
Yeah, a handful of crumbs.
It's a lot of crumbs.
A lot of chromes. Well, there was a hole in the bag. I didn't know there was a pin.
Speaking of old things dying, we lost another gangster today.
Yeah, this has been quite a summer for the mob movies. I mean, Ray Liotta, James Caan, Paulie Walnuts, Tony Sirico, and now Paul Sorvino. I mean, these are all people who had major roles in mob TV shows and mob movies.
You think De Niro's next?
I don't know.
Who would you guess? Who's the next fictional mob character that passes away? De Niro, Al Pacino.
Could be Pacino.
Yeah.
Amanda Sante. So he
Okay.
wasn't fictional. He played a real life mobster.
I'm talking about the actor that portrayed him.
No, he's. But Amanda Sante actually played John Gotti in a good John Gotti movie.
Gotcha.
So it wasn't that he played technically none of these guys are fictional except for the Sopranos and the Corleones. I mean, the Goodfellas actually is a true story.
Yeah. All right. So portrayed a gangster on TV or a movie.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that's I mean, but they were all old, right? They were all in their 80s for the most part. Ray Liotta might have been in the 60s.
Ray Liotta didn't make 70. He was 68.
Yeah.
But James Caan was 83. Paul Sorvino was like 83, and Tony Sirico was only a few weeks away from being 80.
So they lived a good life, right?
Yeah, they lived a long time. So it's not like they died young.
Yeah. Frank, how long do you want to live for?
I don't know. The way this world's getting more fucked up every day, I mean, 70 might be enough.
70 might be enough. Like if there's just on your set, maybe the day after your 70th birthday, it just ends right there. You'd be happy with that. It'd be like, all right,
No, I would rather go another 2 weeks, get to Thanksgiving.
Okay. So a few weeks after your 70th birthday is for Thanksgiving. What about Christmas?
Well, what am I going to get for Christmas?
What are you going to get for Thanksgiving?
Turkey.
Well, you get a ham on Christmas.
No, I make a turkey. Ham is New Year's.
So you make a turkey on Thanksgiving and Christmas and have no ham.
Ham is New Year's.
Wow. Well, okay,
ham is New Year's and Easter.
So you have no Christmas ham?
Nope, I have turkey.
I don't know. Maybe that sounds odd to me.
But the ham is New Year's, so it's only like a week.
Who told you that? And again, who told you that New Year's is the day for ham?
That's been everything I've done my whole life.
Okay, so your parents.
Yes.
Your parents have turkey on Thanksgiving and Christmas, and then a ham on New Year's.
Yes.
Okay. Yeah, I don't know. That sounds odd to me. I've never heard of celebrating New Year's with a ham. Was that a part of anything? Was there like a festival they did or anything, or was it just a matter of, hey, it's New Year's, we're gonna make a ham?
And it's New Year's, just make a ham.
There's nothing special about it all. It's just New Year's ham.
New Year's ham.
All right. Well, we'll have to ask the listeners if that's weird or not. I don't know. That doesn't sound right to me. But then again, ham, you can have ham any day. I'm just not sure. I don't think I've ever celebrated New Year's Day with a ham. But that's a Fleming thing. I won't question it at all. Well, you're lucky that you're able to eat the ham on New Year's. By 2030, you're not going to be able to eat any meat.
Yeah, well, and people have, I've been predicting this for 20 years. That these radicals, the more power you give them, the more they're going to want, and they're going to tell you what to eat, what to think, what to drink, and probably soon what to wear. And in a way, they've already told us what to wear,
Well, so let me paint a picture. So there is a group, an organization called C40 Cities. It's run by Michael Bloomberg, of course, and
that man sucks. That man fucking sucks. He wanted to put a tax on soda. He wanted to ban large beverage cans in New York. He's the reason why you go to a restaurant, you can't find fucking salt on any goddamn fucking table.
So yeah, he is.
Speaking of Christmas, I'm obviously watching the Braves Phillies game right now, and right now there's a man dressed like Santa Claus, full beard, gray beard, wearing a hat and a Hawaiian shirt, and the Philly fanatic is in his lap like he's a child.
Nice. We'll have to get the rights to the MLB network to show that, to clip that into the show so that everybody can see that. That's a real mascot, unlike that slob in Atlanta. Who are you talking about?
That annoying ball sack, Blooper.
Oh, Blooper. Yeah, I like Blooper. What about him?
He sucks.
Big Cat is right. Big Cat is right.
Does
he suck, or are you just mad because he's the Braves mascot?
He sucks.
I think you're upset that he's a cool mascot, unlike Mr. Met.
Mr. Met is the coolest mascot in the world. I mean, he's got a wife, he's got kids.
That sounds so cool. He's got a wife and kids. He's the coolest.
Yes, he's been voted 5 times baseball's best mascot.
According to who? Who voted for that?
People.
Mets.com.
He is.
That was a Mets.com survey. That's what that was.
He is in the Mascot Hall of Fame.
Oh, okay. So there's a Mascot Hall of Fame.
Yeah.
And how many mascots are in that Hall of Fame? Anybody who applies?
It's a fairly new Hall of Fame. But there is an actual Mascot Hall of Fame. I'm lobbying to get NJ Devil in the Mascot Hall of Fame.
So I just want to throw this out. I just put everything together here. Mr. Met is a cool mascot because he has a wife and kids.
Yeah, and his wife is also a mascot. His wife is the Co-Mets mascot.
Yeah, well, I would hope so. That would be pretty freaking weird if his wife was a human being. That would be weird.
They've done SportsCenter commercials.
Okay, well, Blooper can do a SportsCenter commercial whenever they do this.
The Mascot Hall of Fame opened up in 2018 in Whitting, Indiana.
Why Indiana?
I don't know.
Is this a real organization, Frank? This Hall of Fame, or did some guy just have a warehouse and he said, "Hey, why don't we do a Mascot Hall of Fame?"
The Mascot Hall of Fame was originally a part of a children's museum, and in 2005 they started voting in mascots. There's currently 8. What?
It's a ploy. It's a marketing scheme. They said, "Hey, children don't want to come to a museum."
It was actually founded by the original. It was founded by the original Philly fanatic.
He's not even a legal entity. How could he found something?
And the guy who played the Philly fanatic, Dave Raymond.
Okay. So the guy who played the Philly fanatic.
Yeah.
Okay.
So
is the Philly fanatic in the Hall of Fame?
The Philly fanatic is in the Hall of Fame.
Wow. Sounds like a really unbiased group there.
Well,
the guy who played the Philly fanatic founded a Hall of Fame, and he put the Philly fanatic in it.
8 college and 17 professional mascots in the Hall of Fame currently.
It just sounds pretty biased to me.
We got the Philly fanatic, the Suns gorilla, the San Diego Chicken, Albie the Tiger.
I'm sorry. Hold on. Stop. The San Diego Chicken.
Yes.
Okay. And what was the other one?
The Suns Gorilla.
No, the Tiger.
Albie the Tiger.
Albie. Who's that?
Auburn.
Why is Albie the Tiger in there?
I don't know.
This is garbage.
We got Bucky Badger, Clutch, Rockets mascot. We got the Utah Jazz Bear, Casey Wolf, UUD, which is a Blue Hen Delaware mascot.
Yeah. Why would the Delaware Blue Hen be in the mascot hall? Frank. This is not a reputable source.
This is an actual Hall of Fame.
I'm sure it is.
Hall of Fame in Whitting, Indiana.
Frank, I will listen. Frank, I don't care. I don't care where it is. That is not a reputable source. Saying he's in the mascot Hall of Fame means absolutely nothing.
We got Big Red, the mascot of Western Kentucky.
You are continuing to prove my point here, Frank.
That's a blob. It's
my
a
point.
blob.
You are continuing to prove my point.
We got Brutus Buckeye. We got the Coyote, the Spurs mascot. Little Red.
Hold on, the San Antonio Spurs?
Yes.
Why would their mascot be in the Mascot Hall of Fame?
He's a coyote.
I understand. I understand that you're telling me what animal it represents. Mm-hmm. Why would the mascot be in the Hall of Fame? This is a bogus Hall of Fame, Frank. You might as well have told me Mr. Met has a really nice Wikipedia page, because that's all this is.
We got Mr. Met in the Hall of Fame. We got Rocky.
None of it matters. None of it matters, Frank. Erroneous.
Smokey's in the Hall of Fame. Tennessee's mascot.
Well, of course he should be. But anyway,
we got Tommy Hawk, the Chicago Blackhawks mascot. The Oriole bird.
The what?
Youppi. The Oriole bird.
Oh, the Oriole. Oh, gotcha, the bird.
We got Boomer, the Pacers mascot. Blue.
Now hold on. And is the Pacers mascot, the only reason the Pacers mascot's in there is because he's Indiana. There is no reason. There's no. This doesn't make any sense. It's meaningless. You saying that the Mr. Met is in the Mascot Hall of Fame. In fact, I would say it's a detriment to your argument. When you started listing off,
I mean, the Braves are an extremely unlikable team from top to bottom. Even the Bat Boy sucks.
When you start listing off the other mascots in the Mascot Hall of Fame, you completely discredited your entire point.
You know, if we're driving to Indiana, we got to see if we can stop at Whitting.
I don't know if I want to stop there. It sounds like a very biased organization, and it's random. And so I don't even know.
They got to get NC Devil in there.
Who cares? It seems like it's a random assortment of mascots that are for no reason. Anyway, like that Hall of Fame.
Oh, yeah. Here's how the Hall of Fame is actually determined. They put it up to a vote, and the fans vote people in.
Online.
Yep.
Yeah. So they're using Facebook polls in order to nominate and initiate Hall of Fame mascots. I mean, you might as well have Bodie McBoatface in the Hall of Fame. Like that. None of that matters. None of that matters. Speaking of none of that matters. Let's go back to this New World Order, this C40 cities. How did we even get to this?
Because we keep it in voting lunatics.
No. How did we get on Blooper? Why? How did we're talking about this organization.
I was looking at the Philly Fanatic sitting in Santa's lap at the Phillies game.
That's right. We're gonna have to record when you're not watching TV. You get too distracted, and then I get distracted from your distractions. Anyway, so Mike Bloomberg,
Mike
Bloomberg has this organization, and by 2030, they don't want you to eat any meat, no dairy. You can only buy 3 new pieces of clothing each year, 0 private vehicles. So in the next 7.5 years, their big goal is for there to be 0 private vehicles and for each person to only take 1 flight every 3 years.
And people, when I said this was the plan, said, I'm nuts. The Democrats will never do that, Frank. You're nuts. Well,
this is what they want. This is what
I told you so. You didn't listen, but I told you so. Hey, Chris Creamer, Madison Sport. I fucking told you so.
Who'd you tell? Say Chris Creamer?
Yes.
Who's that?
The sports logo guy.
Oh, from sportslogo.net?
Yeah. I was part of his message board. They kicked me out of it because I kept saying this is the agenda.
Frank, I just want to confirm here. I want for myself and the audience here. I'm just going to ask real quick. Are you telling me that you were kicked off a sports logo website message board because you were talking about politics?
They used to have a political thread called the General Discussion Thread.
Was it a political thread or a general discussion thread?
There were it was a section of general discussion and a lot of political issues in there. And I kept saying that the agenda is eventually going to be they're going to tell you they're going to force everyone to be a vegan. They're going to ban meat. They're going to ban cars. They're going to limit where you can travel. And now here it is. Mike Bloomberg. I mean, Mike Bloomberg is the biggest asshole that's probably ever been in politics. You know, if he thinks people have too much money, how about he fucking live like a fucking... And here's another thing he wants to do. He wants to put everyone in pod apartments where you don't have any kitchen accessories. You have a TV, a bed, and you're limited to how much TV you have. You know what the name of that is? You know what the traditional name for that is? Prison.
Well,
and yet he's a billionaire, more money than fucking God, and he wants to tell everyone how to live their fucking life. This is how fucking phony they are. They think that their shit doesn't stink. They think that they're better than you. And now you have all these celebrities like Leonardo DiCaprio going, yes. And you better believe that AOC is part of this fucking group. And Stephen Colbert with his fucking Prius that I like to shove up his fucking Montclair ass.
Well, and so I was looking through. It's not because obviously it's Bloomberg's, he's the head of it. But then we also have the head of environment program from Bloomberg Philanthropies. There's somebody from like a Denmark philanthropy. But then there's also a guy named Bruce Lindsay, who is the counselor to the chair of the board for the Clinton Foundation. And then there's there's the head of international affairs for Milan and the undersecretary for economic affairs and finance of Jakarta, which I believe is Indonesia.
Is the Baruch Salt on there too, aka Greta Thunberg?
Yeah. No, not yet. But yeah, so it's a great.
This is not about saving the environment. This is about controlling you. And if this is how we save the environment, then kill me now.
So that is their hopes for 2030. By year 2030, no meat, no dairy, only 3 new pieces of clothing per year, zero.
And the people who do this are billionaires who travel around in private jets, who tell you that you're bad for wanting to live a good life. That they're okay because they're better than you and they're doing it out for you. It's a smart thing to do. No, dirty world. You're the fucking peasant. Full fucking shit.
Yeah, it reminds me of that. You remember that Little Curtis, where they were trying to like get him to throw away candy. He goes, "She thinks she's the queen, and we're all the sorry people. She can't run on those high heels." Remember that video?
Yep.
That's what it sounds like. Well, speaking of billionaires, wealthy people, Mega Millions is up to like $810 million. Are we going to play?
I'll think about it.
All right. I mean, you don't want a chance to win $810 million?
Well, we could hit Wawa.
What would you do? So after taxes, it would probably come down to like what, 400 billion? Like if you took the lump sum and all the taxes and everything first, you might get half that. So what would you do with $400 million, Frank?
Buy a limo driver?
You would buy the driver himself?
Yeah.
Frank, how about you buy a limo and then hire a chauffeur?
Well, I could. I have the car.
If you had $400 million, you could probably buy a person, Frank. You could probably buy a limo driver.
Well, maybe I'll buy one of those nice newfangled self-driving cars.
There you go, Frank. There you go. I can't believe it. So if you had $400 million, you would buy a person.
Yeah, I hire a limo driver.
Oh, that's not what you said, Frank. You said you would buy a limo driver. You would go out as if you were shopping and like, oh, here's the limo driver store, and you'd go.
Yeah, I'd have a house. Maybe I'll also get a butler.
Now, even with $400 million, do you think you could could you buy a house in New Jersey?
Probably not.
I don't know what I would do. It's probably for the best that I don't have $400 million, because I would, there's that excellent old clip where the reporter asking the guy, what would you do if you won? And he said, strippers and cocaine, or hookers and blow, or whatever he said. I don't think I would do that. But it's probably for the best that I don't have that much money. I would probably blow it all very quickly, like most people do who win the lottery. But there's only one way to find out. So I'm going to try I'll buy a few tickets.
Yeah. I'll look into buying a ticket or two.
All right. So we'll buy some few tickets. If I win the lottery, if we win the lottery, how about this? We'll go into it. If either of us win, we'll split it. I'll buy one plane ticket back to Florida, and I'll spend out the rest of my days there. And, maybe sometimes I'll come up and visit you and your limo driver.
Well, I do want to go down to Florida in September to see the Mets play the Marlins and the Dolphins play the Patriots.
All right. Well, let's plan it out. Another road trip on the way. That's Barstool Units. I'm Coach Doug's. Frank, please take us out.
I have nothing to sing today. What am I going to sing?
That's fine. That's fine. So
just click like, subscribe. I just don't have that song in my head right now.
I think it's because they're stifling your negativity on Twitter. You're not firing off on all cylinders right now. Till next time, that's Barstool Units.
Hopefully the Mets could take the next two games against the Yankees. That would be pleasing. I mean, the lead's down to a game now in the East. The Braves just a pain in the fucking ass.
The Braves never lose.